My fiancée said the trip to Vegas was girls only, but her tagged photos showed her ex in the background. So I let her have fun, while I canceled the wedding, packed my stuff, and moved to my secret house. She came back to an empty apartment and her angry parents. Hey, Reddit. Thought I'd share this wild ride since you guys seem to love these relationship train wrecks. Fair warning, this one's a doozy and it's gonna be long, but stick with me because the payoff is worth it. Quick background on me. I'm 28 male, a landscaping company owner in Texas. Started from literally nothing after I got out of the Army. Just me, a beat-up 2015 F-150 with 180,000 miles, and some equipment I borrowed from my buddy's dad. 5 years later, I'm pulling in $135,000 annually and employing 12 guys. Not trying to flex, just setting the scene because the money part becomes important later. The Army taught me discipline, but growing up broke in Michigan taught me hustle. My dad bounced when I was 8, left my mom to raise 3 kids on a gas station clerk's salary. We had government cheese and powdered milk for breakfast more times than I care to remember. That experience made me paranoid about finances. I keep my cards close to my chest and always have backup plans. My landscaping business started small, residential lawns, basic maintenance stuff. But I had this vision, you know? I wanted to build something that would last. By year 3, I was landing commercial contracts with apartment complexes and office buildings. The money was good. My crew respected me because I worked harder than anyone else and always paid on time. In Texas, that means something. Enter Miranda, 26 female, met her at a barbecue 3 years ago. She was helping her parents Eduardo and Maria cater the event. These people are legends, came from Mexico with nothing, built a restaurant empire in Dallas from scratch. 3 locations now, all packed every night. They raised 4 kids who all turned out solid. Except apparently one, but we'll get to that. They treated me like family from day one. Eduardo would drag me to his restaurants, introduce me to everyone as my future son-in-law. Maria was already planning our wedding reception, showing me pictures of decorations and asking about my favorite dishes. These people had old-school values. Family first, respect your elders, work hard, don't lie. I respected the hell out of them. The first time I met Eduardo, he grilled me harder than a job interview. What did I do for work? How much did I make? What were my intentions with his daughter? Dude asked to see my bank statements. I actually respected that. He was protecting his family. When I showed him my business financials, his whole demeanor changed. He saw I wasn't some deadbeat looking for a sugar mama. Miranda seemed to share those values. She worked at the family business, helped with the books, never partied too hard. We clicked because we both understood what it meant to build something from nothing. She'd watch me work on job sites sometimes, bringing lunch for me and my crew. My guys loved her because she'd bring enough for everyone and actually remembered their names. What really impressed me was how she handled my rough edges. I'm not exactly smooth, spent too many years in the Army to be good at romantic gestures. But she never made me feel like I wasn't enough. When I'd show up to her parents' restaurant covered in dirt from a job site, she'd just grab me a clean shirt and kiss me like I was wearing a tuxedo. 7 months ago, I proposed. Took her to the lake where we had our first real date, got down on one knee, had my crew spell out "marry me" with their trucks on the hillside. She cried, said yes, posted about it for weeks. Her parents threw us an engagement party that felt like a wedding reception. I was all in. But here's the thing about building a business from scratch. You learn to plan ahead and keep secrets. While Miranda was busy with wedding planning, I was working on the ultimate surprise. 8 months before everything went sideways, I bought a house. Not just any house, the house. 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 2-car garage, pool in the backyard, covered patio, the whole suburban dream. 2,800 square feet in a neighborhood where the average income is 6 figures. Paid $340,000 cash because I don't trust banks, and I'd been saving every penny since I got out of the Army. Nobody knew about this house. Not my mom, not my crew, not even my best friend Alan, who I tell everything to. Only my lawyer and accountant knew. I wanted it to be the ultimate surprise. Hand her the keys after our honeymoon, and watch her face when she realized we weren't going back to our cramped apartment. The house hunting was insane. I'd tell Miranda I was working late, then spend hours driving around neighborhoods, looking at properties. Found this one through a realtor who specialized in cash sales. The previous owners had already moved out of state, so I could work on it immediately. The bones were solid, but it needed my personal touch. I spent 3 months just on the master bathroom because I knew she'd lose her mind over it. Miranda was always showing me these Pinterest boards with subway tiles and farmhouse sinks. I installed exactly what she wanted. white subway tiles with dark grout, freestanding tub, walk-in shower with rainfall head, double vanity with those Edison bulb lights she was obsessed with. The master bedroom was next. I ripped out the old carpet and installed hardwood floors throughout the entire house. Painted every room in colors she'd mentioned liking. The kitchen was my masterpiece. Quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, that huge island she was always talking about. Everything designed around what she'd casually mentioned wanting over the years. My crew thought I was losing my mind. They'd see me loading up tools after a 12-hour day, asking where I was going. I'd just say working on a project and leave it at that. Alan kept asking why I was so secretive, but I wanted this to be perfect. Tommy, my crew chief, was the most suspicious. "Boss, you're working harder than a man with 2 mortgages. What's going on?" I'd just smile and change the subject. The guy started making jokes about me having a side business or a secret gambling problem. The pool area was probably overkill, but I went all out. Had it resurfaced, installed new lighting, built a custom pergola, even got a hot tub because she mentioned once that she wanted to try one. I was picturing family barbecues, her parents coming over on Sundays, maybe kids running around in a few years. The American dream, you know? I even installed a security system with cameras, thinking about keeping our future family safe. The garage got a full renovation. 3 weeks before the Vegas trip, I was putting finishing touches on the guest bedrooms. The house was ready. All I had to do was make it through the wedding, take her on our honeymoon to Cancun, then drive her to our new home and watch her realize how I'd been planning our future. The irony is thick, considering what happened next. 3 weeks before my world flipped upside down, Miranda came home buzzing with excitement. Her friend Stephanie was planning this epic bachelorette party in Vegas. 5 days, 4 nights, suite at the Cosmopolitan, VIP everything. The works. Babe, you won't believe what Stephanie planned. It's gonna be insane. She showed me her phone. Screenshots of the hotel suite, restaurant reservations, pool party tickets. Price tag, $3,200 per person. That's more than most people make in a month, but I'd been doing well, and she'd been stressed about wedding planning. Plus, I figured she deserved it after dealing with venue coordinators and caterers for months. "Go for it. You've been working hard on this wedding stuff." The smile on her face was worth every penny. Or so I thought. Looking back, I should have asked more questions about the guest list. Stephanie was known for her wild parties, but I trusted Miranda completely. She'd never given me a reason not to. The first red flag should have been how vague she got with her parents. As I mentioned, Eduardo and Maria were old-school Mexican Catholics. They didn't do Vegas. They tolerated it because it was a tradition, but they definitely wanted details. Miranda kept dodging their questions about where they were staying, what they were doing, who was going. "Just 5 girls, Poppy. Stephanie, Jessica, Rachel, Amy, and me. We're gonna see shows and eat at nice restaurants." Eduardo seemed satisfied, but Maria had this look like she wasn't buying it. Mothers know, man. They always know. She kept asking follow-up questions that Miranda would deflect or change the subject. "Which shows? What restaurants? How are you getting around?" Simple questions that shouldn't have been hard to answer. The second red flag was the shopping. Miranda spent more on Vegas outfits than I spend on clothes in 2 years. Designer dresses, expensive shoes, the works. She was trying stuff on and asking my opinion, but something felt off. These weren't girls' trip outfits. These were trying to impress someone outfits. Who are you trying to look good for? I thought this was just you and the girls. I want to look good for myself. Can't a woman want to feel confident? Fair point, so I dropped it. But the outfits kept coming. Tight dresses, barely there tops, stuff she'd never worn around me. She was putting together a wardrobe for someone who was planning to be seen. I watched her pack 3 suitcases for a 5-day trip and thought it was excessive. But women pack differently than men, right? The third red flag was her phone behavior. Miranda was never secretive with her phone. We'd watch Netflix together, and she'd be scrolling Instagram, showing me funny posts. But suddenly she was texting at weird hours, taking calls in the other room, keeping her phone face down when we were eating dinner. "Who you texting?" I'd ask. "Just wedding stuff. Stephanie's group chat is going crazy with Vegas plans." Made sense at the time. Wedding planning is stressful, I get it. I just trusted her completely and didn't want to be that controlling fiancé who questions everything. My dad was paranoid and controlling, and it drove my mom away. I didn't want to repeat that pattern. The night before her flight, she was packing those 3 suitcases like she was moving to Vegas permanently. I watched her fold those expensive outfits, thinking about how excited she seemed. More excited than she'd been about anything wedding-related, actually. She was practically glowing. "I'm gonna miss you," she said, wrapping her arms around me. "It's only 5 days. You'll be back before you know it. This is gonna be the best week ever." Famous last words. Monday morning, I drove her to DFW. She was talking about how much fun they were going to have, how she needed this break from wedding stress. I helped her get her bags out of the truck, gave her a kiss, told her to be safe and have fun. Love you, babe. Take lots of pictures. I will. Love you too. I watched her disappear into the terminal, thinking about how lucky I was to have a woman who was so excited about life. She was about to have an amazing time with her girls, and I was about to surprise her with the house of her dreams. Life was good for about 18 hours. Tuesday's post looked exactly like what you'd expect from five girls in Vegas. Pool party at the Cosmopolitan, fancy dinner at some celebrity chef restaurant, group photos at blackjack tables, standard bachelorette party content. But Wednesday morning, I'm on a job site installing irrigation for a new subdivision when something in Miranda's Instagram story made me freeze. It was a pool photo, her and the girls laughing, drinks in hand, typical Vegas stuff. But there was someone just outside the frame. You could see part of an arm with a distinctive tattoo, a skull and roses design that ran from the wrist to the elbow. I knew that tattoo. I'd seen it before, up close and personal. Diego Garcia, Miranda's ex-boyfriend from college, the one her parents couldn't stand because he was covered in ink and worked construction when he felt like it. The guy who treated their daughter like garbage for 2 years before I came along. I pulled up Diego's Instagram, public profile, because of course it was. His latest story was a selfie in front of the Bellagio fountains from Tuesday night. Same city, same time frame as Miranda's posts. Could be a coincidence, right? Vegas is a big city, lots of people visit. But that tattoo in her story wasn't a coincidence. That was Diego's arm, and he was close enough to be in the frame of her girls-only trip. I called Alan, my best friend since basic training. Dude, I need you to look at something I'm gonna send you. Silence. Then he spoke. Isn't that Miranda's ex? Wait, why the hell is Miranda tagged on his posts? Dude! Alan found the same posts I did, plus some I'd missed. Diego's story showed him at the same casino, same pool, same restaurants as Miranda's group. Bro, this doesn't look good. No shit. What do I do? Screenshot everything before people start deleting stuff. Smart advice. I spent the next hour documenting everything. Diego's location posts, Miranda's stories, timestamps, everything. I created a folder on my phone and started building a case like I was going to trial. The more I dug, the worse it got. Diego had been posting from Vegas since Monday, the same day Miranda arrived. His stories showed him at the airport, at the hotel, at the same restaurants where Miranda was posting her girls-only content. This wasn't a coincidence. I started cross-referencing their social media activity from the past few months. Diego had been liking Miranda's posts, commenting with inside jokes. How had I missed this? I'd been so focused on work and the house that I hadn't been paying attention. Wednesday night, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept checking both their profiles, looking for more proof. Around 2 a.m., Diego posted a story from inside what looked like a hotel room. Not his room. The decor matched the Cosmopolitan suite Miranda had shown me screenshots of. The same suite she was staying in with her girls. I called in sick to work for the first time in 3 years. I needed to figure out what the hell was happening. Thursday morning brought the smoking gun. Stephanie posted a group photo from their hotel suite. 9 people total, 5 girls I expected, plus 4 guys I didn't recognize. Except I did recognize one of them. Diego, standing right next to Miranda with his hand on her waist like they were still together. I screenshot that photo too. The comments were even worse. People asking, who are the cute guys? And Stephanie responding with winky face emojis. This wasn't some random encounter. These guys were integrated into the trip. They were part of the plan. I called my crew lead and told him to handle the job site. I was going home to figure out what the hell was happening to my life. That's when I went full forensic analyst. I started making phone calls. First to the hotel, pretending to be Diego's friend trying to reach him. They confirmed he was a guest, staying in the same suite as Miranda's group. Then I called the restaurants where they'd been posting photos. Same reservation, same party size. Friday morning brought the final nail in the coffin. Miranda posted a breakfast photo. Just her and Diego, alone together at some fancy restaurant. Her caption, perfect morning with perfect company. Perfect company. With a heart emoji. My fiancée was in Vegas, alone with her ex-boyfriend, calling him perfect company, while I was back home working my ass off to build our future. Time to level the playing field. Thursday night, while Miranda was posting more lies about her girls-only trip, I was composing an important email of my life. Eduardo and Maria deserved to know what their daughter was really doing. I organized everything. Screenshots of Diego at the casinos, restaurants, pool parties. Everything time-stamped and documented. The email was respectful but direct. Eduardo and Maria, I hope you're doing well. I need to share something with you about Miranda's trip. She told all of us it was girls only, but her ex-boyfriend Diego has been there the entire time. I've attached screenshots showing them together throughout the trip. I wanted you to know because I'm ending our engagement immediately. I can't marry someone who would lie to me like this. I hope you understand why I had to tell you. Isaac. I hit send at 11:47 p.m. Eduardo called me at 11:52 p.m. 5 minutes. Isaac, mijo, I am so sorry. This is not how we raised her. I could hear Maria in the background, crying and speaking rapid Spanish. Eduardo was switching between English and Spanish, clearly furious. She will not be welcome in our home until she explains herself. This is not acceptable. You are a good man, Isaac. You deserve better than this. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. You did the right thing. A man should know when his woman is lying to him, and parents should know when their daughter is disrespecting her family. We talked for another 20 minutes. Eduardo was angrier than I'd ever heard him. He told me about the last time Diego had been around, how he'd stolen money from their restaurant, how he'd broken Miranda's heart and disappeared. They thought she was done with him forever. Maria got on the phone at one point, apologizing through tears, saying she was ashamed of her daughter's behavior. We thought we raised her better than this, Maria said. You are family to us, Isaac. Now here's where it gets interesting. While Miranda was posting Instagram stories about their amazing girls trip, I was moving out of our apartment. I called my crew at 6 a.m. Friday morning. I need everyone at my apartment in 1 hour. Bring the trucks. I'm moving out today. My guys didn't ask questions. They showed up with 3 trucks and had everything I owned loaded in under 4 hours. I took only what was mine: clothes, tools, personal stuff, left behind anything that was hers. I went to the leasing office and removed my name from the lease, paid my share of the rent through the end of the month, but after that, it was her problem. The apartment manager was cool about it. I'd been a good tenant for 3 years, never late on rent, never caused problems. Friday night, I was fully moved into my secret house. The house Miranda didn't know existed. This was my sanctuary now, and she was never going to see it. I walked through every room, looking at all the work I'd done for her. This house was mine now, built with my own hands, paid for with my own money. I called our wedding planner and canceled everything. Lost some deposits, but way cheaper than a divorce. The venue, the caterer, the photographer, the DJ, all canceled. Some vendors were cool about it, others kept the deposits. Saturday, Miranda texted about extending the trip one more day. She was having so much fun with her girls that she wanted to stay longer. I didn't respond. Let her enjoy her last day of freedom. Sunday night, I was sitting in my backyard, watching the sunset over the pool I'd built for us. The house was quiet, peaceful. I was ready for the fireworks to start. They didn't take long. 11:33 p.m. Sunday night. Isaac! Oh my God, where are you? Your stuff is gone. Did we get robbed? What happened? Miranda's voice. Pure panic. She was back from Vegas, standing in our empty apartment, trying to figure out what the hell happened to her life. Check your DMS. I sent you something. I'd sent her the entire evidence folder while she was in Vegas. Every screenshot, every time-stamped photo, every piece of proof that she'd been lying to me for 5 days straight. Silence. Then the panic started. Wait, Isaac, I can explain. I already sent the same thing to your parents. You did what? Isaac, please tell me you didn't. That's a misunderstanding. I understand perfectly. You spent your trip with Mr. Inked Ass. Dead silence, then muttering in Spanish. I can't believe you did this. You ruined my life. My parents won't even talk to me. She was hyperventilating now, switching between English and Spanish, screaming about how I destroyed everything, how she couldn't afford the apartment alone, how her parents had kicked her out. Where are you? I need to talk to you face to face. Oh, that's not happening. You can't just disappear. We're engaged. We were. I canceled the wedding. That's when she completely lost it. Screaming, crying, threatening to call the police. I let her vent for about 2 minutes, then dropped the final detail. I'll find you, Isaac. I'll find you and we'll work this out. Good luck with that. I hung up and blocked her number. The harassment campaign began at 6 a.m. Monday morning. My business phone was ringing nonstop. Miranda called from every number she could find. Friends, coworkers, random businesses. Each call is more desperate than the last. Isaac, please just talk to me. I can explain everything. You're being ridiculous. It was just a coincidence. Isaac, I'm pregnant. She wasn't. Isaac, I'm going to hurt myself if you don't call me back. Nice try. She didn't. By noon, I had to turn off my business phone. My crew was fielding calls from clients who couldn't reach me. By Tuesday, she was showing up at my job sites. I'd be supervising installations and she'd roll up, demanding my workers tell her where I lived. My crew chief had to run interference because she was disrupting work sites and making clients uncomfortable. Tell Isaac I need to talk to him. Ma'am, he's not here. I know he's here. That's his truck. I'm not stupid. Ma'am, you need to leave. She started following my trucks around town, trying to track me down. She called my business phone so many times I had to change the number. When she couldn't find me, she went nuclear on my business reputation. Fake Google reviews claiming I was a fraud, that I'd taken deposits and disappeared, that I was unstable and dangerous. I spent hours every day reporting fake reviews and responding to false claims. The social media campaign was even worse. She posted long rants about how I was a controlling psychopath who had destroyed her life over nothing. She painted herself as the victim of an abusive relationship, claiming I'd isolated her from friends and family. She conveniently left out the part about Diego. Her story kept changing. First, Diego just happened to be in Vegas. Then he was just a friend who was helping with wedding planning. Then it was just one dinner and I was overreacting. Finally, it became, we didn't even do anything, and I was crazy for not trusting her. The worst part was watching mutual friends choose sides. Some people believed her version of events. Others stayed neutral. A few reached out to me privately, asking for my side of the story. I sent them the evidence and let them draw their own conclusions. Alan was furious. This chick is trying to destroy your reputation because she got caught cheating. We need to do something about this. Like what? I don't know, but we can't just let her run wild with these lies. Nah, the truth will come out soon. People aren't stupid. Wednesday afternoon, I'm working in my garage when my Ring doorbell goes off. I check the app and see this blonde chick in designer clothes standing on my porch, looking around like she owns the place. Takes me a second to recognize her. Ella, one of Miranda's bridesmaids. I have no idea how she found my address. I watch through the camera as she starts pounding on my door. Isaac, I know you're in there. Open this door right now. I hit the intercom button. This is gonna be good. Can I help you? You need to stop being a baby and fix this situation with Miranda. I'm sorry, who is this? It's Ella, Miranda's friend. You're ruining her life over nothing. I'm recording this whole thing through the app. This chick is about to provide me with some entertainment. Oh, you're the trust fund girl who's never worked a day in her life. What brings you to my humble abode? I worked at Nordstrom for 3 months. She's getting more agitated, which is exactly what I want. Time to really dig in. Look, Isaac, Miranda made a tiny mistake, and you're being dramatic about it. Tiny mistake? She spent 5 days lying to everyone about her ex-boyfriend being in Vegas. It's not that big a deal. So what if Diego was there? They're just friends. Are you seriously this stupid, or do you have to practice? Excuse me? You heard me. You flew all the way to Texas to defend someone who lied to her family and her fiancé. That's your idea of friendship? Ella's face is getting red through the camera feed. She's pacing on my porch like a caged animal. You men are all the same. You can't handle when women have male friends. Male friends don't sleep in your hotel suite, genius. They didn't sleep together. How would you know? You were too busy getting wasted at blackjack tables. I was not wasted. Instagram says otherwise. She's really losing it now, pointing at the camera and screaming. You think you're so smart. You think you're better than everyone. Miranda deserves better than you anyway. You're just a landscaper. A landscaper who owns his own house while your friend is living in a studio apartment. But hey, at least she has you defending her honor on my doorstep like some kind of discount lawyer. I'm not leaving until you agree to talk to her. Then you're gonna be camping, because I'm not opening this door. Also, you're trespassing. She yelled, "This is a public street!" I wouldn't expect someone who's never paid rent to understand property law. She starts banging on the door again, harder this time. Stop hiding behind your fancy intercom. I'm not hiding. I'm not opening my door to crazy people. I'm not crazy! Lady, you drove from wherever you live to harass a stranger about your friend's relationship drama? That's the definition of crazy. Someone needs to talk sense into you. About what? Minding my own business. That's when she really snaps. She starts kicking my door and screaming at the top of her lungs. Screw you! You're a controlling asshole! I'd already called 911 minutes ago. 2 more minutes of screaming. Then the patrol car pulls up. 2 officers get out, and her whole demeanor changes instantly. Officers, thank God you're here. This man is harassing me. I shit you not. She actually said that. I opened the door. Officers, I'm the homeowner. I have the entire interaction recorded on my security system. She's been on my property for 20 minutes, refusing to leave. Ella Sicangelo. From her look, I realized she definitely didn't know I owned the house. Wait, you own this house? I thought you were crashing at someone's place. The officer interrupted. Ma'am, do you live here? No, but then you need to leave the property. He's being unreasonable about his girlfriend. Ma'am, that's not our concern. You need to leave the property now. This is ridiculous. I'm trying to help my friend. Ma'am, if you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have to arrest you for trespassing. That sobered her up real quick. She stomped off my porch like a toddler who didn't get her way. Then she delivered the classic cartoon villain line. This isn't over, Isaac. After they left, I watched the footage back. Ella looked absolutely ridiculous. Screaming at a door, getting escorted off by police. I saved the whole thing to my phone. Thursday morning, Miranda finally tracked me down at a job site. She looked absolutely terrible. She'd clearly been sleeping in her car or bouncing between friends' couches. This was not the same woman who'd left for Vegas a week ago. Isaac, finally! We need to talk right now! My entire crew stopped working. 8 guys standing around watching this woman have a meltdown in front of their boss. Get off my job site! Where are you living? I know you moved somewhere. Your neighbors won't tell me anything. That's none of your business anymore. I'm your fiancé. No, you're not. You can't just cancel a wedding. And you need to explain right now what's with the house thing. Ella told me you must be crashing at someone's place. She's not giving me the address. Are you with someone else already? Of course Ella said that. That's when I decided to twist the knife. No, the house is mine. And the funny part? It was supposed to be a surprise. Congrats. You screwed it up. She froze, looked confused as hell. Wait, that wasn't what Ella told me? I don't understand. Of course you don't. I own a house. Custom kitchen with that island you're always talking about. Everything you've ever wanted. She actually staggered backward, like I'd slapped her. Oh my God, that's so sweet. Show me. Please, Isaac, just show me. I love you so much. Nah, what do you mean no? You need to leave, Miranda. I walked away, leaving her crying and screaming in the middle of my worksite. My crew was trying not to stare, but they heard everything. Boss, everything's good? Asked Tommy, my crew chief. Yup, everything's perfect, buddy. Back to work. But I could tell the guys were shaken. I'd always been the calm, professional boss who kept his personal life separate from work. Later that day, Tommy approached me privately. Boss, I gotta ask, this chick is really losing it. You think she's gonna do something crazy? I mean, she's been calling our clients, showing up at job sites, making threats. This isn't normal breakup behavior. That's when I made a decision that would change everything. I'm gonna handle it legally. Can't have this affecting the business. Good call. You need backup for anything. You know we got your back. I appreciated that. My crew wasn't just employees. They were family. We'd built something together, and I wasn't going to let anyone destroy it. 1 week later, she'd found my address. Friday evening, I'm pulling into my driveway after work, and there's Miranda sitting on my front steps. She was just sitting there, staring at the house like she was trying to process what she was seeing. You did all this for me? What are you doing here? She walked around the property like she was in a trance. She pressed her face against the windows, trying to see inside. You were going to surprise me? Miranda, I have no time for this. Leave or I'm having you removed, like Ella. That's when she broke down completely. I made a mistake. I can fix this. I'll sign any prenup you want. I'll do counseling. I'll do anything. People work through things like this. We can rebuild trust. She spent the next 10 minutes alternating between begging and threatening, promising to change, then getting angry when I wouldn't budge. When I again demanded she leave, she refused. I'm not leaving. This is my house too. Are you serious? You're trespassing. You can't call the police on me. My neighbors did. The cops showed up minutes later, escorted her off the property with a trespassing warning. If she came back, she'd be arrested. The harassment intensified after that. More fake reviews, more client calls, more social media campaigns. She was burning every bridge she had left. When my army buddies started getting calls, I knew she was getting desperate. She was calling everyone she could find connected to me, trying to get them to convince me to do the right thing. Alan got the worst of it. She called him at work, at home, even tracked down his girlfriend's number. Your friend is destroying my life over nothing. You need to talk sense into him. 3 weeks later, I got a restraining order. Her behavior had escalated to the point where I genuinely feared for my safety and my business. She'd violated the trespassing warning twice, each time becoming more aggressive. The court hearing was a circus. Miranda showed up with a lawyer, claiming I was the one harassing her. She presented her social media posts as evidence of my abusive behavior and accused me of financial abuse for not giving her access to my house. My lawyer was prepared. We had everything documented: the Vegas evidence, the harassment campaign, the fake reviews, the trespassing reports. The judge wasn't buying her victim act. Your subsequent behavior has been harassment, not an attempt to reconcile. I'm granting the restraining order. The judge granted a restraining order for 1 year. Any violation would result in immediate arrest. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt like I could breathe for the first time in months. The nightmare was finally over, legally speaking. 4 months later, life was getting back to normal. I was dating Carmen, a fourth-grade teacher who owned her own place and paid her own bills. We met at a coffee shop where she was grading papers, and I was reviewing job estimates. When I told her about Miranda, her response was perfect. Any woman who disrespects her family while lying to her man doesn't deserve either. We were taking things slow, but Carmen was respectful and mature. She bought her own stuff, insisted on splitting dinner checks, and never once asked about my financial situation. When I showed her the house, after dating for 2 months, her reaction was genuine appreciation, not entitlement. The contrast was stark. Miranda had treated our relationship like a business transaction. She provided companionship, I provided financial stability. Carmen treated it like a partnership. We both contributed equally to something bigger than ourselves. That's when Miranda sent the letter. 8 pages, handwritten. Somehow she thought sending it through the mail wouldn't violate the restraining order. My lawyer disagreed. It was pure desperation. Apologies, explanations, promises to change. I know I screwed up, Isaac. I know I hurt you and disappointed my parents. I'm living alone in a 400-square-foot apartment, working at a coffee shop because I lost my job at the restaurant. My parents still won't talk to me. My friends won't return my calls. I'm paying for my mistakes every day. I'm still wearing the ring. Please, let's talk. I'm all alone. Diego left the day after we got back from Vegas, said he needed space, and blocked me on everything. She begged me to meet her somewhere, just to give her a chance to explain herself face to face. She promised to respect the restraining order, suggested meeting at a public place with other people present. The letter was pages of regret, self-pity, and desperate attempts to rewrite history. She painted herself as the victim of her own poor choices, as if she'd been tricked into lying and cheating. I didn't respond, but I did save the letter, not out of nostalgia, as evidence for the restraining order. The house is mine now. Carmen loves the reading nook, spends Sunday mornings there with her coffee and lesson plans. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Miranda had just told the truth about Vegas. If she'd said, Diego's gonna be there too, but it doesn't mean anything. Maybe we could have worked through it. Maybe not. But she chose to lie. She chose to sneak around. She traded a future for 5 nights in Vegas. Some mistakes you don't get to rewrite, and that's the story, Reddit. Stay smart out there, guys. And always trust your gut when something feels off.